Well, it's all smiles around the Caribbean and the rest of the world for the West Indies. A fantastic series victory, 2-0 against Bangladesh in what many people predicted would have been the other way around before the series started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to On Tour. We look back at that West Indies series in Bangladesh today, climaxing a fantastic end to a test series that produced everything: double centuries, 5-wicket hauls, and in the end, a victory to the West Indies by some 17 runs in a cliffhanger at Maipur. I look at the scorecard to tell the tale. The West Indies 409, and they were 41 for 3 overnight. Eventually, they were bowled out for 117. Bangladesh 296 and set 231 made 213 for the West Indies to win by 17 runs. Now, Bonner made 38, again top scoring. Joshua De Silva, important partnership. He made 20. The West Indies could have been bowled up for under 100 had not been for that little partnership between himself and Bonner. Islam, 4 for 36. The spinners are now laying in the West Indies, and Hassan continues to be consistent, 3 for 34. Set that to 13 now. They got off to a good start, Bangladesh. It was Tamim Iqbal who made 50. He actually put on a pretty good stand there for that 50. And it was the intervention of the captain, Craig Brathwaite, who came on, brought that partnership. He actually removed both of those opening batsmen. He got 3 for 25, Warwick 3 for 47. But in the end, it was Rakeen Cornwall, 4 for 105, 9 wickets in the test match. What a tremendous performance from him. And unfortunately, Hassan Miraz, who almost led them home, was the last man out for 31. Well, so much to talk about, but the West Indies will be smiling and coming back to the Caribbean, feeling very, very satisfied. Let's go straight to the panel. Tino Best, former Barbados and West Indies fast bowler, Johnny Barron, our international correspondent, and of course, Fazir Mohammed, our regional correspondent. Gentlemen, I'll start first of all with you, Tino. You know, this is a victory not since 2012, apparently, that the West Indies have won in Asia, 2-0. And I know they won in Zimbabwe 1-0 in, I think it was 2017. But this victory would give them a great sense of satisfaction.
Yeah, for sure, Barry. First of all, congratulations to them. I thought they played a magnificent game. They resolute and to go down there with a team without the big names of the captain, Jason Holder, Barvo Hitmaya, and the lot, and to come off against a very strong Bangladesh team. It's tremendous, Barry, and kudos has to go to the coach as well and the staff. I thought that living in the bubble have really made guys who want to play the cricket focus, and that's it. And they were focused, and that was terrific for them.
Yeah, look at those scenes of celebrations, the scenes of jubilation there by the West Indies team. I'm going to pick up on what you just said, Tino, about living in the bubble has made some players focus. Johnny Barron, some people might say that living in the bubble has actually weeded out the real people who want to play this game of Test cricket. Would you agree with that?
It certainly concentrates the mind. I mean, this is the most fantastic Test series win by West Indies. You know, Bangladesh have been unbeaten at home since 2015, apart from one defeat against Sri Lanka. The likes of South Africa, of course, have gone there, India, England, and haven't won, and Australia. It's an amazing win. And I think you're right. You know, that team spirit was bonded in England in that series later last year, I should say, where they did fantastically well, were unlucky not to retain the Wisden Trophy. Very tough in New Zealand, of course. Nobody really wins there. But here, the team spirit has been just fantastic throughout, and that was a key factor in this win.
Fazir, you're never short on words. I'm sure that you are not necessarily speechless, but surprised perhaps that the West Indies have won. How do you feel about it?
Well, of course, very surprised because I was one of those who said 2-0 easily for Bangladesh. But talking about using words, let me use Tino's word because he talked about resolute. And I think that's what we saw from the West Indies this time around. A real resolve, a real fight, because let's put it in perspective again. A week ago, and a day ago, it was generally expected the West Indies would capitulate and lose the first Test match, having been set that target of 395. And as it turned out, they won and won handsomely with Kyle Mayers and that historic innings. And then coming into the second Test match again on the final day, it could have gone either way, 17 wickets falling. And once more, the West Indies showed character. No doubt over time we'll properly put this in perspective, but it is a tremendous effort in these circumstances. And again, to use Tino's word, resolve, character, that sort of determination, that sort of willingness to fight. They showed all of that.
Well, look, let's bite straight into the day, Tino. I want to start first at the top. The captaincy of Craig Brathwaite. He got a lot of praise in this Test series. He got 3 wickets today, 3 for 25. This is not the first time we've seen Craig Brathwaite, with the intervention of his bowling, break partnerships and pick up wickets at crucial times. But I want to talk about his captaincy. What did you think and make of his captaincy in this Test series and generally today as the West Indies held on to win the game?
Yeah, I thought his captaincy and his leadership was on point. Look, when you got someone, the most experienced player in the team, you got to lead from the front. When you don't have the original leader in Jason Holder, who obviously didn't go on the tour for whatever reasons, and for Craig Brathwaite to keep the guys focused was terrific. This young man was always a leader. I first played with him when he was 16 years old in the Barbados team, and he was always a very quiet, soft-spoken person, young man. And his leadership has grown. He's grown into a very good leader. He understands when to bowl bowlers and when to pull them. But this is a tremendous feat, and to play with a team that is basically under pressure. Guys are playing for their livelihoods in terms of they know that these selectors might go back and pick the big boys again. Guys are fighting. This team reminds me of the 2005 team that went to Sri Lanka. I know we didn't win the series, but we fought every single Test match, and this is what this team showed. It showed character, and Craig Brathwaite reminds me of someone like Sylvester Joseph, who was a very good leader. It's just that he did not get to lead the big boys in that sense of winning a series. But well done to him. I think he was tremendous, and he led from the front.
I'll fast forward to Fazir now. Fazir, you look at this side, you look at what they have achieved. Who are the players that are likely to stay on, and who are the ones that are likely to come back in? Because that's going to be a big bone of contention now. Sri Lanka is supposed to come. I'm not sure if they will come. There's some debate about that. But we've got other big series this year. Who are the ones likely to go? Who are likely to stay?
And that's it, exactly, Barry. Everything is up in the air right now when we're talking about what's going to happen with the West Indies, what should be an historic international schedule of 4 visiting teams. But there will be some time to consider. I think when you look at it overall, that middle order, I think Shane Mosley will have to go back to the regional game. It's always tough to come in a situation like that, but he had 4 innings and didn't really get the opportunity. But then you've got Nkrumah Bonner. It's going to be difficult to leave him out now. Kyle Mayers had a double failure in the second Test match, but how do you leave out someone who scored a match-winning double hundred in his first Test match? So there you have a couple of players already. We see that, of course, Shane Dowrett seems to be out of the game completely, so no challenge to Joshua De Silva, who is really cementing his place as a wicketkeeper batsman. The bowling department, again, it will depend on the conditions, because you wouldn't expect when Sri Lanka come to town, or whoever comes to town, that the West Indies are going to be playing on tracks that will be as spin friendly. So you don't expect to see 2 or 3 spinners, or even Craig Brathwaite himself having a bowl. To answer that question about the leadership, I expect Jason Holder to be the captain once again, because again, you don't just simply make a change automatically because of the unexpected success that Craig Brathwaite brought to this team by his role, especially on the last day in taking those 3 wickets as well. So those names come immediately to mind. It's a very competitive environment, which is good for West Indies cricket, but it's important that the West Indies build on this and not just simply look at this as another one-off and then struggle the rest of the way.
Very well said. Okay, look, we're going to take a break on tour. When we come back, Johnny Barron is going to break down the stats for us. Where does this lie in the, of course, history of West Indies cricket? We'll be back on tour. Stay with us.
Put up your hand, it's time to party. Turn it up to the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to...
Welcome back to On Tour. The West Indies winning by some 17 runs there, Myper. What a Test match. Just to recap the scores for you. Windies 409 and 117. Bangladesh 296, set 231 to win. They were bowled out for 213. In the end, it was the man of the match, none other than Rakeem Cornwall, having the honor of taking the catch and winning it for the West Indies with the ball and with his hands as well. Johnny, we'll hear from Rakeem Cornwall a bit later. But where does this lie? Where does this Test match stack in the line of stats in terms of this victory?
I think it's a quite wonderful victory. It's a quite wonderful series for West Indies. They played absolutely beautifully throughout the course of it, and that chase in the first test was incredible. And they did enough in this test match to win, and that 220 ahead proved successful. But I think as far as wins concerned, I think it's right up there. You have to look at two things. One is the West Indies record away from home, which is pretty poor. Of course, there was that win under where Tino Best played in 2012-13 in Bangladesh. Then they won in Zimbabwe, but that has been it for West Indies on their travels. And then from a home perspective, Bangladesh simply don't lose at home. Just one loss in their last 5 years. And all the big guns, as we've said before, have come there and haven't taken a series win. It's absolutely incredible. And the whole side has to take enormous credit.
To be balanced, no Shakib Al Hassan. Would you perhaps say to the Bangladesh fans that it was because you were without this star player that you weren't able to hold on? If he played, do you think it would have made a difference?
I think it would have made an enormous difference. Would the West Indies have chased down 395 in that first test with Shakib Al Hassan, especially the way in which he'd gone in that ODI series? I very much doubt it. That would have been a big, tall order, and those valuable runs in that sort of top order would have been a key factor. And bear in mind, even without him, Bangladesh weren't a million miles away. Just 17 runs in the end, and Mehdi Hassan Miraz was there, almost there at the end. But boy, what a catch from Rakeem Cornwall.
Yeah, what a catch from Cornwall. You look back at that catch, and I don't think it got enough credit. I mean, everyone was focused on the victory, but he could have simply not have held on to that, and that could have made the world of difference. Rakeem Cornwall, what a tall, towering figure in the West Indies team. Tino, we discussed him yesterday, but he's deserving of discussion again. 9 wickets in the test match. He almost became the player for the second time to get another 10 for Hall. But he got 9, and that was good enough to get in the man of the match. Your thoughts on Rakeem Cornwall and his difference and how he bowled in this test?
Yeah, brilliant. He bowled the right lines, and he was getting spin and bounce from in front of the batsman. And I thought he was very patient. Something he said in the interview yesterday, Barry, he was just saying, look, he just want to be patient, he want to be consistent. And that's all you can ask for from a player. As I tell you, Barry, he just got to work on his mobility. And he has good hands. He catch the ball, but he's not a poor cricketer. You understand? He's just a big unit. And look, he's a beautiful cricketer. He's a beautiful human being, and he's done a terrific job to take 9 wickets. And look, I always said, as spinners go to Bangladesh and they can't get wickets, they are not spinners. And well, both to Warrican as well. Look, so I thought the West Indies played great. I just thought that they were a little disappointed with only scoring 117. But then when you look at the surface, Barry, you can't be too harsh on them because Bangladesh did play hard. They did come back very hard. And look, all credit to West Indies because they're playing with a depleted team. And they just show you that West Indies cricket, it has nothing to do with the talent. West Indies cricketers are very talented. They just need right structures and right programs and right people behind them to push them. And these young men from the Caribbean can be world champions again.
Fazir, you have not been a big fan of Cornwall, but he's delivered in Asia, delivered in India against Afghanistan. He's delivered in Bangladesh. Your thoughts on Cornwall's place in this team consistently going forward, seeing that Roston Chase might come back as well to be one of the all-spinning all-rounders?
And that's going to be an interesting one. Well, I think that catch was the exclamation point because the issue with Rakeem Cornwall has been that mobility issue. Nobody's questioning his value as a bowler and indeed as a lower order batsman if he can actually get things going in the lower order. But as Tino said correctly, a very safe pair of hands and to go down low and take that sharp catch as he did. And indeed, if he had dropped it, we would all be saying, well, there you go. You have the big man there at slip. What do you expect? He's so big he can't get down. But the fact is he did. And I think that is the essence of it. Whatever I would have said, in fact, I made it very clear. I didn't think that he would have been a good look for the West Indies to be in the test team, but he's taken his chances and he's proven myself and maybe a few others wrong in that regard, and all power to him for continuing to do that. Whatever his motivation is, if it comes from within, if it comes from without, if it comes from the critics, or whatever it is, the fact is that he has been able to respond in the best way possible. And that's what you'd like to see from all of our cricketers.
Yes, he has responded in that best way. I want your thoughts as well too on Nkrumah Bonner, because you cannot leave out Bonner in this situation. He actually got the man of the series for his knocks. Kyle Mears didn't perform in this test, but was it close for you in terms of who would have won the man of the series?
It was close because I thought Raheem Cornwall would have been a contender for that as well. But when you look at it in perspective, Nkrumah Bonner played such vital innings along the way, and I think it's going to. I can't see him being left out for the next series, whether it's against Sri Lanka or anyone else for that matter. Because again, in every outstanding Test team, you need that type of player, whether it's a Cheteshwar Pujara, whether it's a Manas Labuschagne, whether it's in the previous time, Shivnarine Chanderpaul, Jimmy Adams, Larry Gomes, we can go on and on and on. They won't necessarily excite you with the style of accumulating their runs, but Test cricket is also about resilience. And I think that's what Nkrumah Bonner brings to a middle order, that you can build an innings around him, always in the belief that it won't always happen, but always in the belief that he is going to try his best to hold things together. And that's what you need in Test cricket.
Now, I go to our international correspondent. Where does this leave Bangladesh? What changes are they going to make? And how do you see them now going forward? They also have a pretty tough year and a pretty tough calendar in international cricket. Johnny Barron.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think that there are several doubts over this top order of Bangladesh. It's been in trouble all the way through, hasn't it? You know, the lower order, largely thanks to Hassan Miraz, has really got them out of jail. They've been 144 for 4 in the first test. Again, they were struggling in the second test. And it's those lower order runs that has been the big saving grace. Shakib obviously will come back into this side once he gets fit again. It will be a big factor. But otherwise, Bangladesh are going to have to make some big changes, you feel, at the top of the order.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. When we come back on tour, we're going to hear from the star performers. We've got Cornwall. We've got the captain, Craig Brathwaite. And we'll also hear a little bit from Nkrumah Bonner. When we come back on tour.
Put up your hand, it's time to party. Turn it up to the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land of put up your hand, it's time to party.
We're back for the final segment of On Tour. The West Indies winning there by some 17 runs. Congratulations. Tremendous test series. Some victories that people will be happy and smiling around the world for a long time to come. Let's hear from some of the personalities now. Of course, the man of the series was Nkrumah Bonner. The man of the match was Raheem Cornwall. And the captain was Craig Brathwaite.
Raheem, congratulations first of all. Outstanding performance with the ball.
Yeah, thank you. Think it was a good performance, and the whole team have a good energy from day one, and coaching staff backs us, and we just go there and do the job.
Yes, you showed when you played that 3-day warm-up match that when you picked up those 5-wicket haul in that warm-up match, you posed a greater threat to the batsman, especially in these conditions. You enjoy bowling in these conditions.
Yeah, once the condition is giving you a little bit of spin, I enjoy it. I'm a spin bowler. I have to try and spin the ball, and I just back myself and put the balls in the right areas.
You wanted to spend time in the middle. You batted for a longer period of time. Was that one thing which was in your mind when you came to Bangladesh?
Yeah, I'm speaking to the senior guys. You know, it's important to have patience in Bangladesh because of the nature of the wicket.
Yeah, you played the spinners well, you played the seamers well, and when you did get set, you didn't throw it away. You put a really big price on your wicket.
Well, after all, it's Test cricket, you have to put a price on your wicket. Our bowler style all day, so it's important for us to let them do the same.
Right, it's fantastic win for you, fantastic performance, and I wish you all the very best. Congratulations one more time for an outstanding performance.
Thank you.
You know, I would say this is a team effort. You know, from the during the one-day series, we were having some practice sessions across the road, and obviously looking on, the one-day team not doing that well. And we always had a plan, and we went out there and worked hard and enjoyed it, and we came out on top.
You're talking about plans. What about that stroke of genius when you came on to bowl when the opening stand of 59, and you picked up not just one but two, both the openers?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised. My skill with the ball, so I just wanted to come and keep it tight, and I was thankful for that.
Right. Did you also know that this is the first win for West Indies in Asia in a series of 2 test match or more since 2012? That is a great achievement.
Yeah, that's nice. I think it's a very good accomplishment, for these guys, coming over here, obviously with all the, protocols in order, and, we work hard.
Great stuff, and congratulations to Phil Simmons and the entire team there. I must also congratulate Ian Bishop, because I know he gets a lot of stick when he travels around the world. When the West Indies are losing, they certainly let him have it, and he was quite ecstatic today and did a tremendous job. Well done, Ian Bishop. All right, now, final thoughts, gentlemen. Let's go from left to right. Tino Best, West Indies coming home with a 2-0 victory. Like I said, and Fazir correctly said, we're not quite sure what will happen with the calendar yet. The proposal is not 100% secure. But your thoughts on 2021 for West Indies in Test cricket?
Just continue to work hard with these guys. Whoever chops and replacements that need to be made, I don't think they're going to be wholesale changes. Just maybe one or two batsmen coming in, maybe a Ralston Chase come back in. I just see one player and Jason Holder, basically like two players, maybe two players, three max coming back into the starting 11. But look, just to continue to gel this unit. Everyone continue to fight for them play, because that's what you want. You want guys to understand that the West Indies cricket does not belong to one person, and guys got to continue to fight for their play. And I just think that once they can build, they can build on this, and they have to build on this. And the board needs to find other programs to help our cricketers, not only physically but also mentally. I think that what has worked terrifically on this tour is just the mental capacity of all the players, and just need to just focus on that mental aspect of the game. I think that when it was in my time, it was never a case of talent. It was always a case of mental. And once you can get that mentality focusing on the cricket, I think that West Indies cricket will be okay.
Okay, thank you. And Johnny Barron, how can the West Indies capitalize upon this series victory?
It's been quite fantastic. I think they need to take the energy of this group of players and move it forward into the home and domestic season. I think keen competition for places is all you could ever want. You only have to look at a side like England, who are struggling actually in India, to see how many players are knocking on the door and how many people are rotated. And that kind of situation is what you need for West Indies cricket. You need people knocking on the door who can come in, as they have done in Bangladesh, and perform immediately. It's been stuff of, beyond your wildest dreams in terms of how the debutants have gone on and have shaped this series. It's been absolutely fantastic for them.
And Fazero, speaking of regional cricket, we should have quite a regional season, because the IPL will be going on, but those players that play in the IPL don't necessarily play regional cricket anyway. But I think it's going to be a very competitive regional season this year. How do you view it?
Yes, it should be, because I think it'll send the message, this series against Bangladesh and the triumph, that there are always options, that there are places open. And I think just to take a line from Phil Simmons after that excellent first test victory, where he said that match is done and dusted. We now look to the second test. Yes, there'll be elation. Yes, there'll be celebration. But now they've got to put this behind them as quickly as possible, because you can't linger too much on what you would have achieved. You try to build on it, but don't linger and believe that automatically, because you've won those two test matches in Bangladesh, it's going to be plain sailing for the rest of the year. Because as Tino would have experienced, as so many of us would have experienced over these many years, you see some bright spots, you see some bright sparks, and then things head in the wrong direction. It's important for the West Indies to build on this with the understanding that it doesn't get any easier, it actually gets tougher throughout 2021.
Well said, Fazir Mohammed. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Look, it's been a great season on tour in terms of the Bangladesh series. We're going to have so much more for you throughout the year, so stay tuned. But I can tell you that everyone will be happy with how things have ended up after that debacle of the one-day series when the West Indies lost 3-0. Well, thank you so much, Tino Best, Johnny Barron, Fazir Mohammed, and of course, Vinon Mamchan, who we didn't hear from today, but he's also one of our correspondents. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on tour. We'll be back perhaps when the West Indies are moving again, or perhaps when they're right here in the Caribbean. Goodbye for now.
That's right. We are the West. Turning up to the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you